Good morning, students. My voice is audible. And can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So let me wait for a few other participants, then I'll start the session. Okay, fine, students. So let me start this. I request the students to please mute your mic. Yeah, fine. In today's class, we shall discuss about a new topic called inter-thread communication. Okay, inter-thread communication. What it is all about. For example, let us assume I have two threads. This is my first thread. This is my first thread, and this is my second thread. This is my second thread. Okay. Okay. So these two threads, in order to accomplish a task, okay, there should be some sort of communication between these two threads. Okay. In order to accomplish a particular task, there should be some sort of communication between these two threads, and we call this as inter-thread communication. Okay. Why we need inter-thread communication? Inter-thread communication is required for the threads in order to accomplish a particular task. Okay. This inter-thread communication can be discussed with respect to a problem called producer-consumer problem. Okay. This inter-thread communication can be discussed with the help of producer-consumer problem. So I believe this producer-consumer problem, I hope you might have studied in your operating system, right? But anyhow, so let me discuss this producer-consumer problem. So what is this? It's nothing but it is producer. It is producer. This is producer and consumer. Producer and consumer problem. Okay, so this inter-thread communication can be discussed with respect to an important problem called producer-consumer problem. And what is this inter-thread? And that's what I said. Inter-thread is nothing but, let us assume there are two threads, thread 1 and thread 2. Okay, these two threads, in order to accomplish a particular task, there should be some sort of communication between these two threads. Okay, once there is a communication between these two threads, and these two threads can accomplish a particular task, and this inter-thread communication can be discussed with respect to a problem called producer-consumer problem. So let me discuss what is this producer and consumer problem. So here we have a producer. So we have a producer and we have a consumer. Okay, so in between producer and consumer we have a queue. So between producer and consumer we have a queue, and the capacity of queue is only 1. In other words, in this queue at any point of time I can place only single item. Okay, so what this producer consumer problem all about? Here producer is going to produce a value. So when producer is going to produce a value, is going to put that value into the queue. Okay, now what is the job of consumer? So once the producer has produced a value, the job of consumer is to consume this value. Job of consumer is to consume this value, right? Now once the consumer has consumed the value, and the job of producer is to produce the next value. So he's going to produce the next value called 2. Okay, so once the producer has produced the value, the job of consumer is not to consume this value, right? And similarly, once the consumer has consumed, again the producer is going to produce a new value called 3, And once the producer has produced the value and the consumer has to consume this value. So like this, it goes on. Okay. Here, where this interthread communication comes to picture, here you see that here. Okay. So when the producer has to produce, the producer has to produce only if the consumer has consumed the value. See, for example, let us assume initially the producer is producing a value called 1. So once the producer has produced a value called 1, okay, the producer should tell. So there should be some sort of communication between this producer and consumer. This producer should tell to the consumer stating that I have produced a value. Okay. Once the producer notifies to the consumer that it has produced a value, and what the consumer does, the consumer is going to consume this value which the producer has produced. Okay, now it's very important. So now let us assume the consumer has consumed, right? So once the consumer has consumed this value, right? Once the consumer has consumed this value, now this consumer has to notify to the producer stating that I have consumed the value. Okay. So once the producer knows that consumer has consumed the value, what the producer does, the producer is going to produce the next value. That is the value called 2. Okay. Now you see that once the producers produce a value called 2, now the producer should notify to the consumer stating that I have produced a value. So once the consumer knows that producers produce a value, what the consumer does, the consumer is going to consume the value. Okay. So once the consumer consumes the value, what the consumer does, the consumer is going to notify. The consumer is going to notify the producer stating that I have consumed the value. Okay. So once the producer knows that consumer has consumed the value, the producer is going to produce the next value. That is value called 3. As you see here, students, so we need some sort of communication between this producer and consumer. Is it right? You have noticed? You see that? See, when producer has produced a value, it is notifying to the consumer stating that I produced the value. Why? So thereby a consumer can consume the value. Similarly, when a consumer is consuming the value, it is notifying to the producer stating that I have consumed the value. Why? Thereby a producer can produce the next value. You see the students in this problem. So in this problem, there should be some sort of communication between this producer thread and consumer thread. There should be some sort of communication between this producer thread and consumer thread. What communication? When producer produced a value, it has to notify the consumer stating that I have produced a value. Now here, when consumer consumes a value, it has to notify to the producer stating that I have consumed the value, right? So by having this inter-thread communication between the producer and consumer, we can solve this producer-consumer problem, right? You have any questions, students, with respect to this introduction of producer and consumer problem, you can ask me. Any doubts, any question with respect to this, what I've discussed? Producer-consumer problem, you can ask. Any questions with respect to this? This is very, very important. Okay. This, you can find this question in most of the question papers. They'll be asking to write about producer-consumer problem. Okay. Okay, fine. I hope you understood this, right? Now, let me erase all this stuff. Okay. Now, let us see this with respect to coding. Okay. Let us see this with respect to coding. Now, here we have a producer, and in between we have a queue. And we have a consumer. We have a consumer. As I said, producer is a thread. And consumer is a thread. Okay. How to create a thread in Java, students? In order to create a thread, we need to write a class which implements runnable interface. Okay. So I'm discussing with respect to code. Okay. I'm discussing with respect to code. That is how to implement this producer-consumer problem with respect to Java code. Okay. So as I said, that producer is a thread, consumer is a thread. So in order to create a producer thread, we need to write a class called producer, which is going to implement runnable interface. And similarly, we need to write a class, okay, called consumer, which is going to implement runnable interface. So with respect to this coding, I should write two important classes. One is producer class and one more is consumer class. Okay. Next, I need to write a class called queue. Why I need to write a class called queue? As you know that in this queue, what I should do, I need to place a value called 1. Okay. Now, a producer, in not to place the value called 1 in this queue, what the producer has to do, the producer has to call a method called put. The producer has to call a method called put, which will be present inside this class called queue. Okay, I repeat, a producer, in not to put a value called 1 in this queue, what the producer has to do, the producer has to call a method called put, which belongs to this class called queue. Okay, so in this put, he is going to specify the value called 1. That is, I want to put a value called 1. Okay. Similarly, a consumer, in not to consume, the value in this queue, what the consumer has to do, the consumer has to call the get method. The consumer has to call the get method, which belongs to the class called queue. Okay. So once the consumer calls get method, the consumer is going to consume the value which is present in this queue. I hope you understood this. So in this program, we have three important classes. In this program, we have three important classes. One is class called producer. Since a producer is a thread, we are going to write a class called producer, which is going to implement runnable interface. And similarly, next, we are going to write a class called consumer, okay, which is going to implement runnable interface, because this producer is a thread and consumer is a thread. And next, we are going to write a class called queue. In this class called queue, we'll be writing two important methods. One is put method and the second one is get method. Why this put and get method? This producer, in order to produce a value in this queue, this producer has to call this put method. So once the producer calls this put method, I'm going to place the value called 1 in this queue. Now, consumer, in not to consume the value called 1, it needs to call this get method. So once the consumer calls this get method, I'm going to consume the value which is present in this queue. Yeah. This is the overview of this code. Have you understood this? This is how we are going to implement. This is the overview of this. Any questions, students? You can ask. Any questions? You can ask. How many classes we have? Class 1, class 2, class 3. Class 1 is producer, class 2 is consumer, class 3 is queue. With respect to class 3, we are going to include two important methods. One is put and one more is get. Yeah, fine. Any questions, students? You can ask. Any questions? No questions? Okay, fine. So let us move to this implementation part. Fine. Let's implementation. Yeah, fine. So let me draw the diagram again. So we have a producer, we have a queue, and we have a consumer. As I said, producer is a thread and consumer is a thread. Okay. So I need to write a class called. So let us start with producer. Okay. So I need to write a class called producer, which implements runnable interface. As you know that in order to create any thread, we need to write a class which implements runnable interface, right? So in this class called producer, I've written a constructor called producer, and which is taking an argument, of type queue. Okay, this I'll discuss later. Okay. Now inside this producer, as you notice that inside this producer, I'm going to create a thread. In this producer, I'm going to create a thread. In this constructor, I'm going to create a thread. As you know that once we create a thread, what we need to do? We need to run this thread. In order to run this thread, we need to call this start method. Probably this statement looks to be a little bit confusing. Actually, it's not confusing. It's quite simple. See, they merge the two statements into a single statement. So what it is, I think you know how to create a thread. In order to create a thread, okay, how to create a thread? In order to create a thread, I need to use a thread class. That is, I need to create an object of a thread, new thread, okay, new thread. I need to create an object of a thread. And in this, we need to pass two important arguments. The first argument is this. The second argument is nothing but it is the name of the thread. Let me consider this name of the thread as P. P stands for consumer. This thread I'm going to store in a variable called t. And what's the type of t? The type of t is nothing but it is thread. The type of t is nothing but it is thread. It is thread. Is it right? Now here what I've done, I have created a thread. I have created a thread. So once we create a thread, we need to start this thread. In other words, we need to run this thread. That is t dot start. Right? T dot start. Write it like t dot start. So once you write t dot start, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to run this thread or I'm going to start this thread. Is it right, students? But here you notice that what they've done. So what is t, students? What is t? T is nothing but it is new thread. What is t? This is the t, is it right? So what they've done, this under t value they substituted here. See that? What's the value of t? The value of t is nothing but it is new thread. And that's what you can see here. See that? New thread. Okay. So there is nothing but is a thread they have created. So that this new thread. Dot start. Here what I've written? Here written t dot start. What is t? T is nothing but is new thread. Okay. So here what they have done, these two statements they're combined into a single statement. That's all. There's nothing else here. It's quite simple. Okay. I hope you understood this. Right? These two statements are combined in a single statement. Here, inside this producer and inside this constructor called producer, I'm creating a thread. Once I create a thread, I need to run this thread. So once I run this thread or once I call the start method, the control jumps inside this run method. I hope you know this, right? The control jumps inside the run method, and inside this run method, you can see that I'm trying to initialize the value of I equals 0. Here I've written a while loop. You see that while true. When I say while true, it means it is an infinite loop. It's an infinite loop. As I said that producer is not to put a value in this queue. What it has to do, it needs to call a method called put. That's what I said. A producer is not to put a value in this queue. It needs to call a method called put. So therefore you can see that it's calling q.put. Here is taking put is taking argument called I, that is I plus plus. Initially I value is 0. When I say I plus plus, the value of I will be 1. So when producer is calling put method, is going to put a value called 1. Is going to put a value called 1. Is it right, students? Is it right? Yeah. So let me erase all this stuff. All this stuff. Now let us move to this consumer. Let us move to consumer. As you know that consumer is also is a thread, right? So therefore, I need to write a class called consumer, which is going to implement runnable interface, right? Now inside this constructor called consumer, you see that again I'm going to create a thread. I'm going to create a thread. Once I create a thread, that thread we need to start. In not to start the thread or in to run the thread, we need to call this start method. So once I call the start method, the control jumps inside this run method. The control jumps inside the run method. In this run method, you can see that I written an infinite loop, that is while true. And inside this infinite loop, I am trying to call a method called get. I am trying to call a method called get. You see that, as I said, that consumer, in not to get the value which is present in this queue, it needs to call a method called get. It needs to call a method called get. And that's what I said. You see that a consumer, in not to get the value which is present in this queue, it is trying to call a method called get. It's trying to call a method called get. Right? Now, I hope you understood this, right? Yeah, that's what it is. So I have done with producer and consumer. Now let us move to this Q class. Let us move to this Q class. Okay. Let us move to this Q class. And let me adjust. Okay. Now let us move to this Q class. Okay. So that's what I said. We have a class called Q. We have a class called Q. And inside this class called Q, I need to have two methods. One is put method and one more is get method. You see that I've written a method called get. I've written a method called get. Okay. Similarly, you see that I'll be having a method called put. I have a method called put. Isn't it? Yeah. So let's first discuss about this put method. So how I'm calling put of one. One is an integer value. Since one is an integer value, this put method is taking a single argument which is of type int. Okay. So in order to put a value, I'm going put n. Okay. So actually here I'm not considering it as a queue. So in the output I'll get put one. I get put one. Okay. When producer is trying to produce a value, okay, how is going to produce a value is going to call this put method. So when it's trying to call the put method, what's going to happen in the output? I'll get put colon n. So what's the value of n? That is 1. So therefore, in the output, I'll get put 1, right? Now, consumer, in not to consume the value, it needs to call this get method, and that's what we are seeing. So once it calls the get method, so what is going to do? It's going to get the value which the producer has produced. So how? So what we have written in this code? In this code, the written got value of n. That's what's the value of n? The value of n is nothing but it is 1. In the output, I'll get in got 1. Got 1. Is it right, students? Now one important thing. One important thing, right? Now you see that here, students, inside this class called Q, I have two methods. One is get method and one more is put method. How I can call this get and put method? In not to call this get and put method, what I should do? I need to create an object of a class called Q. I need to create an object of a class called Q. Using this object of a class called Q, what I can do? I can access this get and put method, right? So I can write it Q. I'm creating an object of a class called Q, and using this object only, what I can do, I can call either put method or get method. I can call Q dot put. I can call Q dot put. Q dot put. And similarly, in order to call the get method, I should call Q dot get. Q dot get. Q dot get. So here I should pass 1. Why? Because this put is expecting an integer argument. Is it right, students? So in order to call this get or put method, step 1, what I should do, I need to create an object of a class called Q. Using an object of a class called Q, I can call this put method or I can call this get method, right? Yeah. So let me erase this just to keep in this mind. Okay. So 1 second. You see that here, students, when I'm trying to call the put method, I'm calling with respect to Q. What is Q? Q is nothing but, you see that what is Q? This Q is nothing but, it's an object of a class called Q. Okay. You see that? You see that? Q dot put. Similarly, you can see that. Similarly, you can see that here. I've written Q dot get. What is Q? Q is nothing but is an object. You see that Q is nothing but is an object of a class called Q. So using object of a class called Q, I can call get method and I can call put method. So therefore, I written Q dot put and Q dot get. Right? That's one. In the both cases, you noticed. In the both cases, you notice that I'm going to pass the object of a class called Q as an argument to this constructor. Similarly, an object of a class called Q, I'm going to pass as an argument to this consumer constructor, right? Now, that's the coding you need to understand here. So you see that here. Now, let us move to the final main method, okay? This is the final class, this class called PC. Inside this class called PC, I have a main method. As you know that control execution begins from main method. You see that here, first step, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create an object of a class called Q. Why I'm trying to create an object of a class called Q? Because using this object Q, what I can do, I can call either put method or I can call either get method, because this put and get method belongs to class called Q. So therefore, I'm trying to create an object of a class called Q, and this object I'm trying to pass as an argument to this producer. I'm trying to pass an argument to this consumer. You see that this object I'm passing as an argument. So once I pass as an argument, then using this object, I can call get method. Similarly, using this object, I can call put method. Right? Right, students? Yeah. Now, finally, I would like to conclude. Listen very carefully. That's a very important thing which I would like to do. You see that, so initially what I'm trying to, I'm trying to create a producer object. So once I create a producer object, where the control goes, the control goes inside this constructor. The control goes inside this constructor, and inside this constructor, I have written this dot q equal to q. And next I'm going to create a thread. So once I create a thread, I'm going to run this thread. So once I run this thread, the control jumps inside this run method, and inside this run method, you can see that while true. When I say while true, it means it's an infinite loop. Inside this infinite loop, I'm trying to write q dot put, right? So why are you writing q dot put? Because in order to put a value in this queue, I need to write q dot put, right? And since it's an infinite loop, what's going to happen? And continuously, I'm going to place the value. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that it's an infinite loop, means continuously I'm going to produce the value. In this block of code, I'm not waiting for the consumer. I'm not waiting for the consumer to consume the value. What I'm trying to do, continuously I'm going to produce the value. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see that continuously I'm going to produce the value. Why? Because you see that I place this q dot put in an infinite loop. So since I'm trying to place an infinite loop, continuously what I'm trying to produce a value. I'm not waiting for the consumer to consume the value. Okay, this is first observation. This first observation, right? Now let us move to the second observation. Okay, and now similarly, see that. Similarly, you can see that here. Okay, and similarly, I can see here. Let me erase this. Okay, yeah, and similarly, you can see that. Okay, consumer. Okay. So once I run the thread, the control jumps inside this run method, and inside this run method again I'm having an infinite loop, and again this infinite loop, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to call q dot get. So let us assume that producer has produced a value called 3. Okay. So now here what the consumer is trying to do, consumer in not to consume the value is trying to call q dot get method. Now when you see here, the consumer is trying to consume the value continuously. You see that since I place an infinite loop, it's trying to consume the value continuously. In other words, it's trying to consume the same value again and again. It is not checking, the consumer is not checking whether a producer has produced a new value. What the consumer is trying to do here, the consumer is trying to consume the same value again and again. In other words, multiple times I'll get got 3, got 3, got 3, something like that, right? So that's right. You see that, that's actually you should get put 1, got 1, put 2, got 2, put 3, got 3. But if I write code something like this, I won't get this desired output. Instead of that, what I'll get it, instead of that, I'll get it put, I'll get put 1, put 2, put 3, put 4. Next I'll get got 4, got 4, got 4, like that I'll be getting. Why I'm getting like this? You see that here, since I place this producer in an infinite loop, producer is trying to produce the value continuously. 1, 2, 3, 4. Producer is not checking whether a consumer has consumed the value. Similarly, with respect to consumer is not checking whether producer has produced a new value. Consumer is trying to consume the same value again and again. That is 4 and 4. Okay. So in this block of code, there is no inter-thread communication. In this block of code, there is no inter-thread communication, right? In this block of code, there is no inter-thread communication. But how this inter-thread communication can be achieved? That's very, very important. So this inter-thread communication can be achieved. And before that, I would like to show the output. You see that the output, you see that is trying to put the value called 1. Consumer has put the value called 1. You see that? Sorry, the producer has produced the value called 1. You see that the consumer is trying to consume the same value again and again. Okay, because the consumer is not checking whether a producer has produced a new value or not, right? So that's why I'm getting this output. That's why I'm getting this sort of output. See that? And next you see that now the producer is producing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see that it is not checking whether consumer has consumed the value. Consumer has not consumed 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but continuously the producer is trying to produce the value. Right? You see that up to 7 it has produced. Now the consumer is trying to consume the value. Why I'm getting this sort of output? Because there is no inter-thread communication, between this producer and consumer. What is inter-thread communication? Once a producer produces a value called 1, this producer has to notify to the consumer stating that I have produced a value. So once the producer has notified the consumer stating that I have produced a value, now the consumer should consume this value. So once the consumer has consumed this value, again this consumer has to notify the producer stating that I have consumed the value. So once the producer knows that consumer has consumed the value, then the producer should produce the next value. So once the producer has produced the next value, again this producer has to notify the consumer stating that I have produced a new value. So thereby the consumer is going to consume this new value. But this sort of inter-thread communication, is missed in the above program which you have discussed, right? Now, how this inter-thread communication can be achieved? That's what we are going to discuss now. Now, this inter-thread communication can be achieved with respect to two important methods. So this inter-thread communication can be achieved with respect to, one second. One second, students. Yeah, I got it. So now this inter-thread communication can be achieved with respect to these three important methods. One is wait, one more is notify, and one more is notify all. Actually, okay, with respect to our program, we're going to discuss wait and notify. So using these two important methods, what we can do, they can achieve inter-thread communication between this producer and consumer. Okay. What is this wait? So now let me discuss this. Now, I have producer, I have consumer. Okay. So in this queue, they have to produce, right? Now let us assume that the producer is trying to produce a value called 1. So once the producer has produced a value called 1, what the producer has to do, the producer has to notify. The producer has to notify the consumer. How it is going to notify the consumer? A producer will notify, like we'll call a method called notify. Okay. Once a producer consumes the value, what it does, it calls this notify method. That's what this notify method it calls. So once it calls notify method, so it will be notify the consumer stating that the producer has produced a new value. So once the producer notifies, what it does, it calls the wait method. After calling notify, what the producer does, the producer calls this wait method. Why it calls the wait method? Once a producer calls this wait method, it goes to sleep. Once a producer calls the wait method, it goes to sleep. Why it is going to sleep? Because the producer should not produce the value subsequently. So once it has produced a value called 1, it has to sleep. It has to sleep until the consumer consumes the value, right? Now here, what the consumer does, the consumer is going to consume the value. So now let us assume that the consumer has consumed the value. So once the consumer has consumed the value, the consumer will call notify. When it's called notify, once it consumes. So once it calls notify method, what this notify method does, okay, the producer which is sleeping, it wakes up. Okay, it runs. The producer which is sleeping, what it does, it runs. When a consumer calls this notify method, once the consumer calls this notify method, the producer which is sleeping will start running. Okay. Next, what this consumer will do, again the consumer will call the wait method. Why the consumer is calling the wait method? Because the consumer should not consume the same value again and again. Once it has consumed the value, it has to go to sleep. So once I call the wait method, it goes to sleep. It goes to sleep until the producer has produced the next value. You see that here. Now the producer is running. So since the producer is running, okay, the producer is going to produce the second value called 2. Okay. So once the producer has produced the second value called 2, again, the producer will call the notify method. Why the producer will call the notify method? Once the producer calls notify method, the consumer which is sleeping, you see that the consumer is sleeping, will start running. The consumer will start running. In other words, the consumer will wake up. Okay. So once the producer calls notify method, then it calls the wait method. So once it calls wait method, it goes to sleep. Why it is going to sleep? Because it should not produce any other values. Okay, it should produce the value until the consumer has consumed the value. Now here the consumer is running. So since the consumer is running, what the consumer does, the consumer is going to consume this value. Now once the consumer has consumed this value, so once the consumer has consumed this value, again it's going to call this notify method. So once it calls notify method, you see that the producer which is sleeping will start running. It will start running. Okay. Now since the consumer has consumed this value, again it will call this wait method, means it goes to sleep. It goes to sleep. Why it is going to sleep? Because the consumer is waiting until the producer produces the next value, right? Now here the consumer is, sorry, here the producer is running. So since the producer is running, is going to produce the next value called 3. So after producing the next value called 3, again it's going to call this notify method. So once it calls the notify method, okay, the consumer which is sleeping, will start running. And again, it calls the wait method. So once it calls the wait method, the producer will go to sleep. Since the producer is sleeping and the consumer is running, now the consumer is going to consume this value called 3, right? Is going to consume the value called 3. Now, since the consumer has consumed the value called 3, again, it's going to call the notify method. Once it calls the notify method, the producer which is sleeping will start running. Now, since here the producer is running, okay, now what the consumer does, again, the consumer is going to call the wait method. Why? Because it has consumed the values. Okay, once it calls the wait method, it goes to sleep. So like that it goes on. So like that it goes on. Okay, you see that? Okay, like this it goes on. You see that how nicely you have achieved inter-thread communication. So this inter-thread communication can be achieved with respect to these two important methods, that is using wait and notify. So this is true with respect to this producer and consumer problem. Okay, so what's the difference between notify and notify all? Using notify, we are going to wake up a single thread. Using notify, we are going to wake up a single thread. But using notify all, we are going to wake up all the threads as a difference. But with respect to this producer and consumer problem, there is only one thread we need to wake up. So therefore, here we are going to call only notify method. But if you call notify all also, it doesn't matter. Okay. But with respect to, say, you see that producer, you see that here producer in not to wake up this consumer, the producer in not to wake up this consumer, what is going to do is going to call this notify method. Okay. Okay, that's not this. Okay. So when it calls this wait method, what's going to happen? The thread which is running will go to sleep. Yeah, fine. Yeah, you have any questions, students, with respect to this? You can ask. You have any questions? You can ask. This important discussion which you have done. So next, I'll jump to the code. You have any questions, students? What I've discussed with respect to this wait and notify. If there are no questions, that's well and good. Let me move to the coding part. Let me move to this coding part. Yeah. 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 So this is the coding part. I think time is running up. And before that, I'll give a brief overview. Okay, in this coding part, the most important thing is get and put method. Okay, because using get method, the consumer is going to consume the value, and using put method, the producer is going to produce the value. Right? You see that in this class called Q, I have two important instance variables. One is n, and one is value set. And what is the initial value of this value set? The initial value of this value set is false. The initial value of this value set is false. Right? Yeah. You see that here they have done some changes to this get and put method. You see that they have introduced this wait and they have introduced this notify. Similarly, inside this put method also, you see that there is a wait method and there is a notify method. You see that why you have used this wait and notify, because you not have some sort of communication between this producer and consumer. But whereas in the previous code, what you have seen, you see that You see that inside this get method, there's no question of any wait and notify. Here also you see that inside this put method, I have not written any wait and notify. Since I have not written any wait and notify, there is no communication between this producer and consumer in the previous code. So now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to add this wait